Take control today. The step-by-step path to a stronger mind. Chapter 1. Wake up to your power. Every day you open your eyes, you step into a life shaped mostly by your mind. Not your circumstances, not luck, not the people around you. Your thoughts, interpretations, decisions, and daily responses quietly direct the path you walk. Most people never realize how much control they actually have. They move through life on autopilot, reacting instead of choosing, surviving instead of leading their days. But the truth is simple. You can take control today. Your strongest mind is built now, not someday. Taking control doesn't start with dramatic changes. It begins with awareness. The moment you recognize that your life is guided by what you focus on, what you repeat, and what you tolerate, something shifts. Responsibility becomes power. Clarity becomes fuel. You begin to see that every habit, every emotional pattern, every moment of hesitation or momentum traces back to one place: your mind. A stronger mind is not something only certain people are born with. It's a skill, something you train like a muscle. And the first step is waking up to the role you've been playing in your own story. When you understand this, you stop waiting for motivation and start creating discipline. You stop blaming circumstances and start shaping your environment. You stop wishing and start building. Think about your days. How many of your actions are automatic? How many thoughts run through your mind without being questioned? Most people repeat the same emotional patterns, the same doubts, the same distractions, every single day. Not because they choose them, but because they've never stopped to take the wheel. This is where your transformation begins. You gain power the moment you ask yourself, what am I allowing my mind to do by default? When you wake up to your power, you stop treating your mind like a wild engine and begin guiding it like a skilled driver. You don't shut off emotions or eliminate thoughts. You learn to direct them. Strength doesn't mean never feeling overwhelmed or frustrated. Strength means noticing those feelings and responding with intention instead of being dragged by them. You already know that life can be unpredictable. Stress happens. Failure happens. Disappointment happens. But a strong mind gives you the ability to stay grounded even when everything around you feels unstable. It gives you the clarity to act instead of freeze, to focus instead of scatter, to choose what matters over what feels easy. Most people think confidence comes from achievements. It doesn't. It comes from the knowledge that you can rely on yourself, your decisions, your actions, your discipline. When you trust your mind, you stop seeking permission. You stop fearing challenges. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You act because you know you can handle whatever happens next. Taking control today means refusing to live as a passenger in your own life. It means deciding that your mind will be your greatest tool, not your biggest obstacle. To do this, you need honesty. You need to look at the areas where you've been holding back, the habits that drain you, the fears that silence you, and the distractions that steal your focus. None of this is about judging yourself. It's about waking up to the reality that you can change more than you think. You can train your attention. You can reshape your beliefs. You can choose what you feed your mind. You can build emotional resilience. You can redesign your routines. You can strengthen your discipline. Most people underestimate how quickly their life can transform once they begin strengthening the foundation of everything: their thoughts. Imagine for a moment what your life would look like with a stronger mind. Picture yourself showing up with clarity instead of confusion, with purpose instead of hesitation, with consistency instead of inconsistency. The things that used to distract you no longer pull you off track. The habits that used to drain you no longer control you. The problems that once overwhelmed you now challenge you. Your energy becomes focused. Your decisions become deliberate. Your days feel designed, not chaotic. This isn't a fantasy. It's the natural result of training your mind. When you take control, you create a life built from intention. You start making choices that align with who you want to become instead of who you've been. You start handling challenges with maturity, patience, and strategy instead of stress and panic. You start recognizing opportunities that you used to overlook because your attention was scattered. There is a powerful truth that many people never realize. Your mind listens to everything you repeatedly do. If you delay often, your mind learns delay. If you give up quickly, it learns surrender. If you let fear decide, it learns avoidance. But if you push through discomfort, your mind learns resilience. If you focus daily, it learns discipline. If you move with purpose, it learns leadership. Every day is training. Every decision is strengthening something. The question is, what are you training your mind to become? You don't need perfection. You need direction. You need a shift from reacting to choosing, from drifting to leading, from hoping to acting. Taking control today means understanding that your mind is the architect of your habits, your confidence, your energy, your ambition, and your peace. When you strengthen it, everything else rises with it. This chapter is your wake-up call. A reminder that you are not stuck. You are not powerless. You are not at the mercy of your past patterns. You can rewrite the way you think, react, believe, and behave. You can build a stronger mind, one that supports your goals, protects your focus, and drives your growth. From this moment forward, you are stepping into your power. The chapters ahead will guide you through building discipline, reshaping your inner narrative, strengthening emotional control, and designing the systems that make your strongest life possible. But everything starts here, with awareness, ownership, and the decision to take control today. Chapter 2. The Discipline Blueprint. Discipline is not about forcing yourself to live a rigid life. It's about building a mind that follows through on what matters, even when you don't feel like it. It's clarity applied through action. It's consistency built one decision at a time. And most importantly, it's freedom, the kind of freedom that comes from knowing you can rely on yourself. When you build discipline, you gain control over your direction instead of letting impulses and emotions run your life. Most people misunderstand discipline. They imagine it as restriction or punishment. But true discipline is alignment. It's the bridge between your intentions and your outcomes. It's the structure that turns goals into results. Without it, dreams remain concepts. With it, you transform from someone who wishes to someone who achieves. The blueprint for discipline begins with understanding how your mind currently operates. Everyone has patterns, ways they respond to boredom, stress, temptation, distraction, and discomfort. These patterns were formed through repetition, not conscious choice. If you've spent years reacting the same way, your mind will default to those behaviors automatically. This is why change feels difficult. Not because you're weak, but because your brain is trained to conserve energy by repeating what it knows. To develop discipline, you must begin with awareness. You need to see your patterns clearly. Notice when you postpone important tasks. Notice when you choose what feels good over what moves you forward. Notice when you let fear, doubt, or convenience guide your actions. This awareness is not meant to shame you. It's meant to empower you. You cannot change what you don't see. Once you're aware of your patterns, the next step is deciding who you want to become. Discipline has direction. It isn't random effort. It's effort aimed at a specific identity. Do you want to become someone who finishes what they start? Someone who stays focused? Someone who follows through? Someone who handles difficult tasks without hesitation? You must define your desired identity because discipline is ultimately about becoming a person you trust. When you connect discipline to identity, your actions gain strength. You're no longer doing something just to accomplish a task. You're doing it as proof of who you are becoming. Every disciplined choice reinforces your new identity, and every undisciplined choice reinforces the old one. This is why small habits matter. They train your mind toward the identity you choose. The next part of the blueprint is building a clear structure. Discipline thrives in structure. Without a plan, your mind has too much room to negotiate, postpone, or change course. A structured environment removes unnecessary decisions, making it easier to follow through. When you wake up with a plan, you waste less time figuring out what to do and more time doing it. Structure doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as having a morning routine, a prioritized daily list, or fixed times for your most important tasks. Your aim is to build a framework that reduces uncertainty and increases clarity. The more predictable your environment becomes, the more consistent your actions will be. Another key element is understanding the role of discomfort. Discipline requires you to face moments where you don't feel motivated. This is where most people stop. They wait for inspiration, confidence, or the perfect moment. A disciplined mind knows that these feelings are unreliable. You won't always feel ready. You won't always feel energetic. You won't always feel motivated. But you can build the ability to act regardless. Discomfort is not a signal to stop. It's a signal that growth is happening. When you push through the initial resistance, You teach your mind that it can handle hard things. You build trust in your ability to show up even when conditions aren't perfect. This trust becomes the foundation of long-term discipline. Another crucial part of the blueprint is protecting your focus. Distraction is the enemy of discipline. When your attention is scattered, your actions are inconsistent. A disciplined mind knows how to narrow its focus on the next step, the current task, the present moment. You don't need to solve everything at once. You just need to do what's in front of you. Protecting your focus may require changes in your environment. It may mean reducing noise, silencing unnecessary notifications, or setting boundaries with people who interrupt your flow. It may mean turning off the TV, decluttering your workspace, or limiting the time you spend scrolling online. These small adjustments prevent your energy from leaking into meaningless activities. The next phase of discipline is consistency. One strong day doesn't change your life. Pattern does. Consistency builds momentum, and momentum builds belief. Even small, daily actions compound into major transformation. A disciplined person understands this. They value repetition over intensity. They choose progress over perfection. They show up whether they feel like it or not. Consistency doesn't mean doing everything perfectly. It means doing something every day that reinforces your commitment. Some days your effort will be strong. Other days it will be quiet. But the act of showing up, again and again, trains your mind to see discipline as part of your identity. Another element of the blueprint is self-respect. Discipline is not just about doing tasks. It's about honoring your word. When you break promises to yourself, your mind stops trusting you. When you follow through, your confidence grows. Every time you say, "I will do this today," and then actually do it, you build inner strength. You teach your mind that you are reliable, capable, and committed. Self-respect also means holding yourself accountable without being harsh. Accountability is clarity. Shame is noise. You don't need to punish yourself for slipping. You need to ask, why did I slip, and how can I prevent it next time? Discipline is a skill, not a judgment. Give yourself room to learn, adjust, and strengthen. The final piece of the blueprint is alignment. True discipline works best when your actions align with your values, goals, and long-term vision. When you're clear about what you want, discipline becomes easier. You're not forcing yourself. You're pulling yourself toward your chosen life. The clearer your direction, the stronger your discipline becomes. Think of discipline as the operating system of a strong mind. It supports your ambitions, your clarity, your emotional control, and your daily energy. Without discipline, your mind becomes scattered and reactive. With it, you move with intention, focus, and purpose. You are not trying to become perfect. You are building a stable, reliable mental foundation that allows you to grow without collapsing under pressure. You are training your mind to work with you instead of against you. This blueprint is your starting point: awareness, identity, structure, discomfort tolerance, focus protection, consistency, self-respect, and alignment. Every one of these elements plays a role in building a strong mind. In the chapters ahead, you will learn how to train each of these skills more deeply, turning discipline from an idea into a lifestyle. When you follow this blueprint, you're not just developing habits. You're building a life where your decisions reflect your strength, not your impulses. A life where you act with purpose, not excuses. A life where discipline becomes a natural extension of who you are. Your strong mind starts with discipline, and today is the day you claim it. Chapter 3. Train your attention like a muscle. Attention is the currency of achievement. Every moment you spend focused on what matters compounds into progress. Every moment your mind wanders, procrastinates, or drifts toward distraction compounds into stagnation. Yet most people treat attention as something that happens to them, not something they actively train. The truth is, attention is like a muscle. It grows stronger the more you use it intentionally and weakens the more you let it be misdirected. The first step in training attention is understanding its value. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions all flow from where your focus lands. If your attention is scattered, you'll react to every ping, every notification, every urge, and every fleeting thought. You'll move from task to task without producing meaningful results. If your attention is disciplined, you'll channel your energy toward priorities, act decisively, and build momentum in the areas that truly matter. Think about a time you were fully absorbed in a task you cared about. Perhaps it was learning a new skill, writing, or solving a problem. Notice how hours seem to pass unnoticed, yet progress was massive. That is attention at work. Focused, deliberate, and uninterrupted. Now contrast that with a day spent checking social media, emails, or getting caught in random distractions. The difference in results is staggering. 1 hour of focused attention can outweigh 6 hours of scattered effort. Training attention begins with awareness. Notice when your mind drifts. Catch yourself when you scroll, check your phone unnecessarily, or daydream without purpose. Awareness is not judgment. It is the starting point of change. Just as a muscle cannot grow without resistance, your mind cannot strengthen attention without noticing when it is weak. Next comes control over your environment. Your surroundings heavily influence your ability to focus. Open tabs, notifications, loud environments, or messy spaces all weaken attention. By structuring your environment to support focus, you reduce friction between intention and action. Turn off distractions. Clear your workspace. Use headphones or a quiet room. The goal is to create conditions where focused attention becomes easier than distracted attention. Once the environment is set, implement time blocks for deep work. Focused attention is not unlimited. It has limits. Trying to multitask or work for hours without breaks dilutes the quality of your focus. Use periods of 60 to 90 minutes dedicated to one task. During these periods, eliminate interruptions. Commit fully. You'll notice a level of progress that scattered effort can never produce. Over time, your brain will adapt and develop the ability to maintain focus longer with less effort. A critical technique in training attention is single tasking. Most people believe multitasking is productive, but it fragments attention and reduces output. Doing one task at a time allows your brain to reach a state of flow, where productivity, creativity, and problem-solving peak. Single tasking strengthens the mental circuits associated with sustained attention, making it easier to focus in high-pressure situations. Attention is also strengthened through mental exercise. Practices such as meditation, journaling, or deliberate visualization train your mind to stay present. Meditation, for example, is essentially attention training. By noticing when your mind drifts and bringing it back to your chosen focal point, you strengthen your ability to sustain focus in daily life. Even 10 minutes per day builds neural pathways that enhance control over attention. Another important factor is intentional consumption. What you expose your mind to influences your focus. Constant scrolling through social media, endless news feeds, or passive entertainment fragments attention. Instead, feed your mind information that is intentional, enriching, and aligned with your goals. Read books, listen to educational podcasts, or practice skills that matter. The more deliberate your mental diet, the stronger your attention becomes. Distractions are not always external. They often come from within. Your mind produces urges, doubts, and random thoughts designed to capture attention. Training attention involves noticing these internal distractions and redirecting focus. Instead of reacting immediately to every impulse, pause. Ask, does this serve my goal? If not, return to your chosen focus. Over time, the brain learns to prioritize meaningful signals over noise. Micro-habits can accelerate attention training. For instance, commit to 5 minutes of uninterrupted focus on a single task each day, gradually increasing the time. Use the Pomodoro technique or other time management tools to measure and track your focus. Celebrate wins when you maintain attention and gently adjust when you fail. The key is repetition. Attention improves with consistent practice, just like a muscle. Building attention also involves recognizing energy cycles. Your focus is strongest at certain times of the day. Identify when your mental energy peaks and schedule high-priority tasks during these windows. Low-energy periods are best for routine tasks, planning, or reflection. Aligning tasks with energy cycles makes focus easier and more effective. One of the most transformative ways to strengthen attention is by removing choice fatigue. The brain has limited willpower each day. Too many decisions drain energy and scatter focus. Reduce unnecessary decisions through routines, standardizing choices, or planning ahead. When the brain has fewer decisions to make, it can allocate more attention to the tasks that matter most. Lastly, track progress. Keep a journal of focused work sessions, distractions overcome, or achievements. Measuring your attention trains your brain to value it, providing tangible feedback that reinforces habits. You'll begin to notice subtle improvements in concentration, task completion, and mental clarity, which compound over time into extraordinary results. Training attention is not a one-time effort. It is a continuous process. Your mind is like a muscle that grows stronger through deliberate practice, proper rest, and consistent challenge. With strong attention, you gain control over your mental energy, reduce stress, and dramatically improve productivity. It is the foundation upon which all other mental skills, discipline, emotional control, resilience, and action are built. When you strengthen attention, you stop being a passenger in your own mind. You begin to select where your energy flows, what you value, and how you respond to challenges. Every action becomes more deliberate. Every decision gains weight. Every moment of focus compounds into progress. Your attention is the bridge between intention and results. Train it, protect it, strengthen it. The stronger your attention, the stronger your mind, and the closer you move to the life you want to design. Chapter 4. Rewriting your inner story. The story you tell yourself about who you are, what you can do, and what life expects of you shapes everything. Your choices, your confidence, your habits, and ultimately your results. Most people live inside stories that limit them without realizing it. These stories are formed from past experiences, societal messages, and repeated thoughts. Some are subtle, whispered in your mind as doubt. Others are loud, declaring, "You can't," "You're not enough," or "This is impossible." A strong mind rewrites these stories deliberately, transforming internal narratives into engines of growth and action. Your inner story begins in early life. From childhood, you absorb messages about yourself and the world. Maybe you heard, "You're not smart enough," or "People like you don't succeed." Perhaps you internalized fear, uncertainty, or failure as permanent truths. These statements, repeated over time, become beliefs, automatic filters that shape every decision. Without conscious intervention, your mind will continue to act according to these outdated narratives, reinforcing limitations instead of possibilities. Rewriting your inner story starts with awareness. Notice the recurring themes in your thoughts. What do you say to yourself when you face a challenge? How do you respond to mistakes, setbacks, or opportunities? Are your words empowering or disempowering? Are they rooted in fear, doubt, or past failures? Awareness is the first step because you cannot change what you do not recognize. Once you see your current story, you can begin to question it. Ask yourself, is this story true? Does it serve me? Or is it holding me back? Most limiting beliefs are not objective facts. They are interpretations you accepted as truth. They are assumptions formed in the past, often under conditions that no longer exist. When you challenge these assumptions, you create space for change. Next, consciously replace limiting narratives with empowering ones. This is not about wishful thinking. It is about intentionally designing the story that guides your life. For example, if your old story says, "I always fail," rewrite it to say, "I learn from mistakes and get stronger each time." If your story says, "I'm not capable," rewrite it to say, "I am capable of growth and achieving my goals through effort and focus." The more specific and action-oriented your new story, the more effective it becomes. The key to rewriting your story is repetition. Your mind is trained by what you repeatedly tell it. Affirmations, journaling, visualization, and conscious self-talk reinforce new beliefs. For instance, every morning, you can write or speak statements that reflect the person you want to become. Over time, these repeated messages create new neural pathways, reshaping how your brain responds to challenges, stress, and opportunities. Visualization is especially powerful. When you imagine yourself succeeding, solving problems, or handling challenges calmly, your brain begins to treat these images as possible realities. Your mental rehearsal prepares your mind to act effectively when real situations arise. Visualization combined with deliberate action strengthens your inner story faster than action alone. Another crucial aspect is emotional alignment. Your inner story is not just intellectual. It is emotional. If your mind believes something but your emotions resist it, progress will be slow. Align your feelings with your new story. This might involve feeling gratitude for progress, excitement for possibilities, or confidence in your abilities. Emotions act as the fuel that drives your inner narrative into action. Rewriting your story also involves letting go of past failures. Many people carry old mistakes as proof that they cannot succeed. This mental baggage reinforces the old narrative. Strong-minded individuals view failures as lessons, not labels. They extract learning, adjust, and move forward without guilt or shame. Each step becomes evidence of capability rather than limitation. Language matters in shaping your inner story. Words are the architects of thought. Notice the phrases you use: I can't, I always, I'm not, and replace them with I will, I am learning, I am capable. Small changes in wording lead to significant shifts in mindset because your brain begins to accept the new language as reality. Surrounding yourself with supportive influences reinforces the new story. People, books, media, and environments act as mirrors for your inner beliefs. If your surroundings reflect doubt, negativity, or stagnation, they will weaken your efforts. Seek influences that validate growth, effort, and possibility. The story you live is amplified by the world around you. One of the most powerful ways to rewrite your inner story is through action. Thoughts alone are insufficient. Your story becomes real when it is proven through behavior. Each deliberate step you take toward your goals, each challenge you face, each habit you maintain, acts as evidence that your new story is true. Action and narrative reinforce each other. You act in alignment with your story, and the story grows stronger with every action. The process of rewriting your story is ongoing. It is not a one-time event. Life will continue to present challenges, doubts, and temptations to return to old narratives. But each time you consciously choose your new story, you strengthen your mental resilience and expand your possibilities. Every day, you have the chance to reinforce the narrative that empowers you rather than limits you. Imagine for a moment what your life could look like if you fully rewrote your inner story. Confidence replaces hesitation. Curiosity replaces fear. Focus replaces distraction. Challenges become opportunities. You no longer react to external circumstances. Instead, you act from your values and your vision. Your inner dialogue becomes a partner in growth, not a critic in disguise. Rewriting your inner story also transforms your perception of others and the world. You start noticing possibilities instead of obstacles. You begin to see your potential and the potential of people around you. Relationships, work, creativity, and health all improve because your internal framework shapes the way you interpret and interact with reality. The ultimate goal is to make your new inner story automatic. At first, deliberate practice is necessary. You must consciously reinforce empowering beliefs and responses. Over time, with repetition and action, these patterns become default. Your mind, once a source of limitation, becomes your greatest ally. Discipline, focus, resilience, and creativity emerge naturally from this rewired foundation. Your inner story is the blueprint for your life. By taking control of it, you take control of your outcomes, your energy, and your growth. You move from being a passive character in your own life to the author, consciously shaping each chapter. The power to rewrite, reshape, and reclaim your narrative lies within you, starting today. Chapter 5. Break the cycle of delay. Procrastination is one of the greatest thieves of time, energy, and potential. It is not merely poor time management or laziness. It is a mindset that convinces you to delay action despite knowing that taking action is critical. The longer you postpone, the more momentum slips through your fingers. Breaking the cycle of delay is essential for building a stronger mind because your ability to act immediately shapes the trajectory of your life. Understanding why you delay is the first step. Delay often disguises itself in many forms: perfectionism, fear of failure, fear of success, lack of clarity, or even emotional overwhelm. The mind creates these excuses as a protective mechanism, a way to avoid discomfort. While this instinct may have served you in the past, it no longer serves you when your goals require bold, deliberate action. To overcome it, you must recognize delay as a choice rather than a default response. Delay thrives in ambiguity. When tasks are unclear, too big, or overwhelming, the mind stalls. The antidote is clarity and simplification. Break tasks into manageable steps. Ask yourself, what is the next smallest action I can take right now that moves me forward? Focus only on that step. The mind is far more willing to act on small, precise movements than on vague, intimidating goals. Another reason people delay is the illusion of time. We often believe there will always be later to act. Yet later rarely arrives, and even when it does, It often comes with added pressure, stress, or missed opportunities. A strong mind understands the power of immediacy. Acting now, even imperfectly, builds momentum, reduces anxiety, and reinforces the habit of prompt action. Fear is another powerful driver of delay. Fear of failure can paralyze you. Fear of judgment can silence you. Fear of uncertainty can stop you from stepping forward. To break this, reframe fear as information rather than a signal to stop. Fear is not your enemy. It is a guide showing where growth is possible. Step into fear deliberately, knowing that action in the presence of fear is how progress occurs. One practical technique is the 5-minute rule. Commit to starting a task for just 5 minutes. Often, the hardest part is beginning. Once you begin, momentum builds naturally, and resistance decreases. Starting small transforms delay into action. 5 minutes can lead to 20, 30, or an entire focus session. The key is to remove the psychological barrier to beginning. Delay is often reinforced by habitual patterns. For years, you may have postponed important tasks and rewarded yourself with temporary relief, comfort, or distraction. Your brain now associates avoidance with short-term pleasure. Breaking this habit requires creating new rewards for immediate action. Celebrate small wins. Recognize progress. Train your mind to associate prompt action with satisfaction, not stress. Another powerful strategy is commitment and accountability. When you tell someone your goal or schedule a task publicly, your mind experiences added motivation to act. Social accountability taps into your desire to be reliable and consistent. Combined with personal accountability, tracking your progress in journals, apps, or checklists, you create a system that reinforces immediate action. Procrastination is also fueled by emotional avoidance. Tasks that provoke boredom, discomfort, or stress are postponed in favor of easier, more pleasurable activities. A strong mind learns to tolerate discomfort by reframing tasks as opportunities for growth. Discomfort becomes a sign that you are pushing boundaries, building resilience, and strengthening focus. The more you act in spite of discomfort, the less power it has over your choices. Time management alone does not end delay. Discipline and clarity are essential. While schedules provide structure, the internal battle to begin, to push through resistance, and to maintain focus is what separates action from delay. By combining clear priorities, structured routines, and deliberate action strategies, you create an environment where delay cannot thrive. Visualization and mental rehearsal further strengthen your ability to act. Imagine yourself completing tasks quickly and effectively. Picture the satisfaction of progress and the stress relieved by action. The mind often resists action because it overestimates difficulty and underestimates capability. Mental rehearsal rewires perception, making action feel more achievable and delay less appealing. Breaking delay also involves designing pre-commitment strategies. Set conditions that make delay harder and action easier. For example, lay out your workspace, remove distractions, or schedule tasks at peak energy times. Automate decisions to reduce choice fatigue. The easier the first step, the more likely you are to act immediately. Another vital principle is time-based pressure. Deadlines, even self-imposed ones, create urgency. Without urgency, the mind rationalizes delay. Use countdowns, timers, or short-term goals to generate pressure. Treat each hour, each task, and each day as valuable, non-renewable resources. This mindset shifts procrastination from a habit to a conscious decision you choose to overcome. It is essential to recognize that perfection is a major source of delay. Many people postpone because they feel they cannot do something perfectly. The truth is that perfection is an illusion. Action breeds improvement, feedback, and learning. Done is far more powerful than perfect. The disciplined mind prioritizes progress over flawlessness, iteration over waiting for ideal conditions. Delay can also be broken by aligning tasks with motivation. Motivation is unreliable if you wait for it to appear. Instead, act first to generate motivation. Often, the act of doing a small portion of a task triggers energy, confidence, and enthusiasm, which snowball into larger action. Action creates motivation. Waiting does not. Finally, breaking the cycle of delay requires persistence. The mind will resist change. Old habits attempt to regain control. The disciplined mind acts anyway. Repetition is critical. Each act of prompt action reinforces a new identity. Someone who chooses, acts, and achieves. Momentum accumulates, and the brain gradually internalizes prompt action as the default response. Imagine a life where delay no longer rules your choices. Tasks are completed on time. Opportunities are seized. Stress from last-minute effort disappears. Progress accumulates naturally. Your mind becomes trained to act decisively, and your confidence grows with each success. This is the life of someone who has broken the cycle of delay. The steps are clear: awareness of delay patterns, clarity on next actions, breaking tasks into manageable steps, starting small, tolerating discomfort, reframing fear, celebrating wins, committing publicly, designing environments that favor action, using deadlines and time pressure, and prioritizing done over perfect. When applied consistently, these steps train your mind to act immediately, creating a habit of decisive, focused, unstoppable momentum. Breaking delay is not a single achievement. It is a lifelong skill. Every moment you act instead of postponing reinforces the habit. Every day you choose action over avoidance strengthens your identity as someone who takes control. Delay loses its power, and your mind becomes sharper, stronger, and unstoppable. Start today. Take the first step. Act now. Your stronger mind is waiting on the other side of action, not hesitation. Chapter 6. Master your emotional state. Your mind is not just a thinking machine, it is an emotional powerhouse. Every choice, every action, and every habit is influenced by the state of your emotions. If your emotional state is unstable, your decisions become inconsistent, your focus wavers, and your discipline falters. Mastering your emotional state is one of the most powerful tools for building a stronger mind. It does not mean suppressing emotions or pretending you are always calm. It means learning to understand, regulate, and use your emotions to drive purposeful action. The first step to mastering emotions is awareness. Most people react emotionally without realizing why they feel a certain way. Anxiety, frustration, anger, sadness, and fear are signals, not dictators. Begin to notice these signals as they arise. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this? What triggered this emotion? How does it influence my decisions? Awareness transforms emotions from automatic responses into data points you can act upon. Next comes acceptance. Emotions are natural and inevitable. Trying to fight them or pretend they don't exist only gives them more power. Accept what you feel without judgment. Recognize that every emotion has a purpose. Anxiety signals potential threats or risks. Frustration points to unmet goals or misalignment. Fear indicates an area of growth. Acceptance is not resignation. It is clarity. Once you accept emotions, you can begin to regulate them rather than be controlled by them. Emotional regulation is the heart of mastery. It involves choosing how to respond to an emotion instead of reacting impulsively. You do this by creating a pause between stimulus and response. When frustration, fear, or stress arises, take a breath, observe the feeling, and decide your action deliberately. This pause allows your rational mind to guide behavior rather than letting raw emotion dictate it. Over time, this becomes a default skill. One of the most effective methods to regulate emotion is reframing. Reframing means consciously changing the interpretation of a situation to alter your emotional response. For example, instead of seeing a challenge as a threat, view it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Instead of interpreting criticism as a personal attack, see it as feedback for improvement. Reframing doesn't ignore reality. It empowers you to respond more effectively. Another key to emotional mastery is breath and physiology. Your body and mind are deeply connected. Rapid heartbeat, shallow breathing, and tense muscles reinforce stress and negative emotions. By consciously controlling your breath, deep, slow, and deliberate, you signal to your nervous system that it is safe to calm down. Posture, movement, and facial expressions also influence emotions. Standing tall, walking with purpose, or smiling can shift your state almost instantly. Focus your mind to manage emotion. What you think about directly influences how you feel. Dwelling on worst-case scenarios, past failures, or imagined fears magnifies negative emotions. Shift your focus to solutions, possibilities, and actionable steps. When your attention is on what you can control, emotions become a source of energy instead of a source of drain. Self-talk is another powerful lever. The language you use internally can either escalate or calm emotions. Replace thoughts like, "I can't handle this," with, "I am learning and capable." Replace, "This is overwhelming," with, "I will take one step at a time." Every thought repeated becomes a habit, gradually shaping emotional resilience and confidence. Mastering your emotional state also requires anticipation and preparation. Life presents unexpected challenges, stressors, and setbacks. Prepare for these by envisioning potential obstacles and how you will respond calmly and effectively. Mental rehearsal builds emotional resilience. When real challenges arise, your mind recognizes the scenario, your body stays regulated, and your actions remain deliberate. Gratitude and perspective are essential tools. Shifting attention to what is going well, what you have accomplished, or what resources are available reduces emotional volatility. Perspective reminds you that most emotional disturbances are temporary, and that your response determines the ultimate outcome. Gratitude rewires the mind to focus on abundance rather than scarcity, reducing fear, frustration, and negativity. Emotional energy management is crucial for sustaining focus and discipline. Emotions consume energy. When you are emotionally reactive, your energy drains quickly. Calm, deliberate, and empowered emotional states are energizing. Identify emotional drains in your life, people, media, habits, or environments, and minimize them. Replace them with sources that uplift and motivate. Emotional self-care is not indulgence. It is strategic preparation for high performance. Another vital practice is journaling and reflection. Writing down emotions, triggers, and responses allows you to analyze patterns and spot recurring themes. Journaling provides insight, helping you adjust your responses, shift your narrative, and anticipate future reactions. It turns chaotic feelings into actionable data for self-mastery. Mastery also requires discipline during high-stress moments. True emotional strength is revealed under pressure. When deadlines, conflicts, or unexpected events occur, your reaction shapes outcomes more than the events themselves. Practice staying grounded, breathing deeply, thinking clearly, and responding strategically. Each time you act in control under stress, emotional mastery deepens. Habits reinforce emotional resilience. Regular exercise, proper sleep, nutrition, and time for reflection stabilize mood, energy, and focus. Mental habits, like morning routines, meditation, and prioritizing tasks, strengthen emotional control by reducing external chaos and internal stress. A structured life creates an internal environment conducive to calm and deliberate action. It is important to recognize that mastering emotions is a skill, not an inherent trait. Some people seem naturally calm or resilient, but anyone can develop this skill with practice. Daily exercises in awareness, regulation, focus, reframing, and reflection build emotional strength over time. Your emotional state can become a source of power rather than a barrier. The ultimate goal is emotional autonomy. This is the ability to feel emotions fully, understand them, and direct them toward productive action rather than being carried away by them. Emotional autonomy allows clarity, confidence, and sustained focus. It strengthens decision-making, enhances relationships, and supports discipline. Imagine a life where stress, fear, or frustration no longer dictate your choices. You approach challenges with clarity, remain calm in uncertainty, and respond rather than react. You tap into motivation when needed, conserve energy wisely, and align your feelings with your actions. This is the power of mastering your emotional state. Every strong mind relies on emotional mastery. Thoughts create direction, but emotions provide the energy. When your emotional state is under control, every action, every decision, and every effort is amplified. Discipline, focus, productivity, and resilience all thrive in a mind that can regulate and channel emotion. Start today. Notice your emotions, understand their signals, and choose your response deliberately. Strengthen this skill consistently, and your mind will become unshakable, clear, and powerful. Emotional mastery is not just a tool, it is the foundation for the stronger life you are building. Chapter 7. Build momentum through daily wins. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in life. Once it starts, it carries you forward, making progress easier, confidence higher, and decisions clearer. Yet, most people wait for massive breakthroughs or perfect conditions before acting. The truth is that momentum is built incrementally, through daily wins, and it compounds over time to produce extraordinary results. A stronger mind understands that small, consistent victories are far more impactful than occasional bursts of effort. The first step in building momentum is recognizing the importance of small wins. Every completed task, every step forward, every decision executed on time, and every challenge faced adds to your momentum. While these may seem insignificant individually, together they create an unstoppable force. Momentum is not magic. It is the accumulation of consistent, intentional actions. Begin by setting micro goals. Large goals can be intimidating, which often leads to delay or inaction. Break them into manageable pieces. Each micro goal, when completed, signals progress to your brain and reinforces your capacity to succeed. This creates a positive feedback loop. Achievement builds motivation, motivation fuels action, and action produces more achievement. Consistency is critical. Momentum is like a snowball. It starts small but grows larger with repeated effort. Daily wins reinforce discipline and focus. Missing one day does not destroy momentum, but repeated misses erode it. A strong mind respects the compound effect of consistent effort, knowing that results grow exponentially, not linearly. Tracking progress is another key element. Use a journal, planner, or digital tracker to record achievements, no matter how small. Visibility reinforces growth and provides evidence of capability. Your brain craves proof that effort leads to results. When you can see daily wins stacking up, motivation and confidence increase automatically. Another strategy for building momentum is leveraging early wins. Start your day with a task that is both important and achievable. Completing this task early energizes you and sets a productive tone for the day. The psychological effect is profound. It signals competence, control, and capability, creating a ripple effect that carries through subsequent tasks. Momentum is also reinforced by celebration and acknowledgement. You do not need grand gestures, but recognizing progress, even internally, signals your brain that action is rewarding. This is critical because your brain forms habits based on reward. Daily acknowledgement transforms effort into energy and reinforces the pattern of consistent achievement. Discipline and focus are amplified through momentum. When you act daily, your mind becomes primed to continue action. Resistance decreases over time. Tasks that once felt daunting feel manageable because the mind is already in motion. Momentum minimizes friction and allows your strongest self to emerge naturally. One common obstacle is overwhelm. Large projects, multiple responsibilities, and high expectations can stall progress. Momentum combats overwhelm by breaking tasks into steps and celebrating each completion. The sense of movement reduces stress, increases clarity, and prevents procrastination. Momentum becomes a natural antidote to hesitation. Momentum also builds confidence. Every completed action reinforces your belief in your capability. You begin to trust yourself, your decisions, and your ability to follow through. Confidence, in turn, makes it easier to tackle larger challenges, take risks, and persist in the face of setbacks. It is a self-reinforcing cycle. Wins build momentum, momentum builds confidence, confidence produces more wins. Energy management plays a vital role in sustaining momentum. Focused, deliberate actions require energy, and your daily routines influence this energy. Sleep, nutrition, movement, and mental clarity all affect your capacity to maintain momentum. A strong mind optimizes these variables, creating conditions where momentum flows naturally rather than being forced. Momentum is strengthened by alignment with purpose. When your actions support meaningful goals, your brain interprets progress as significant. Daily wins feel fulfilling because they are not arbitrary, they advance your larger vision. Purpose-driven momentum is sustainable, while momentum without meaning often leads to burnout. Another essential factor is removing friction. Identify obstacles that slow action, distractions, unnecessary steps, indecision, or environmental inefficiencies. Simplify processes, eliminate barriers, and create conditions where action is the easiest path. The easier it is to act, the more momentum accumulates. Small design changes can drastically accelerate results. A practical method for building momentum is habit stacking. Pair new positive actions with established routines. For example, if you already exercise every morning, add a 5-minute meditation immediately afterward. Linking actions to existing habits reduces friction, reinforces consistency, and allows small wins to accumulate daily. Mental framing is also critical. View every action as a contribution to your momentum, not just as a task to complete. Even minor progress is significant because it reinforces the identity of someone who acts consistently and persistently. When momentum is viewed as cumulative, your mind begins to prioritize forward movement over hesitation, distraction, or avoidance. Accountability amplifies momentum. Share your goals with a mentor, coach, or trusted peer. Accountability creates external reinforcement for internal action. When someone else is aware of your progress, your commitment strengthens. Combine this with internal tracking for maximum effect. Momentum grows fastest when both personal and social systems support it. Obstacles and setbacks will occur. Momentum does not guarantee a perfectly smooth path. The difference lies in recovery. A strong mind acknowledges setbacks without letting them derail progress. Each recovery is itself a win. Returning to action after a challenge strengthens momentum even more because it reinforces resilience and self-efficacy. Reflection enhances the power of momentum. At the end of each day, review completed actions, lessons learned, and small victories. Reflecting reinforces the sense of progress and provides clarity on the next steps. Reflection turns accumulated wins into strategic insight, ensuring that momentum is not only energy but also direction. Building momentum through daily wins transforms how you approach life. Tasks that once felt heavy become manageable. Confidence grows. Energy flows. Discipline strengthens. Focus sharpens. By committing to daily, purposeful actions, your mind begins to operate in a state of flow, producing results that feel natural, consistent, and unstoppable. The process is simple but powerful. Set small, actionable goals, take deliberate action, track progress, celebrate wins, optimize routines, reduce friction, leverage energy cycles, and align efforts with meaningful objectives. When applied consistently, momentum becomes a force that carries you forward effortlessly, compounding your efforts and strengthening your mind with each passing day. Start today. Identify one action that counts as a win, complete it, acknowledge it, and build from there. Momentum is created by doing, not waiting, and it multiplies exponentially when reinforced daily. Every small victory is a step toward the unstoppable mind you are creating. Chapter 8. Systems over willpower. Most people rely on willpower to get things done, believing that sheer force of effort will carry them through challenges, distractions, and fatigue. While willpower is valuable, it is limited. Relying on it exclusively leads to burnout, inconsistency, and frustration. The strongest minds understand that systems, not willpower, produce lasting results. Systems create an environment where the right actions happen naturally, making discipline automatic rather than forced. A system is a set of deliberate processes, habits, and structures designed to achieve a goal efficiently. Unlike relying on motivation or effort in the moment, systems work even when energy is low, emotions are high, or resistance is strong. They remove reliance on decision-making and willpower by creating conditions where success is the default outcome. The first step in building systems is clarity about your goals and priorities. Without a clear target, systems are directionless. Identify what truly matters, your highest leverage activities, the routines that support growth, and the behaviors that lead to long-term results. Once you know your destination, you can design systems that ensure consistent movement toward it. Next comes mapping the process. Break down goals into repeatable actions. For example, if your goal is to improve fitness, the system could include scheduled workouts, meal planning, hydration, and sleep routines. Each element is structured to support the overall objective, making progress predictable. A system is only as effective as the clarity of the steps it contains. Automation is a key principle. Reduce the need for repeated decision-making by designing actions that happen automatically. Set reminders, create routines, batch similar tasks, or use technology to handle repetitive actions. Automation conserves mental energy, protects focus, and ensures consistency. The less your mind negotiates, the more smoothly your system functions. Environment design is another critical factor. Systems thrive in spaces structured to support desired behavior. Remove distractions, place essential tools within reach, and eliminate triggers for negative habits. The environment itself becomes a silent partner, guiding you toward productive action and reducing reliance on willpower. A strong system also includes habit reinforcement. Identify keystone habits, small, high-impact behaviors that influence other areas of life. For instance, exercising daily can increase energy, improve focus, and enhance mood, which in turn strengthens work performance, discipline, and emotional control. Systems should be built around habits that multiply benefits rather than isolated actions. Feedback loops are essential for system effectiveness. Regularly monitor results, track progress, and adjust as necessary. Systems are not rigid. They are dynamic structures that improve with iteration. Feedback ensures that you are moving in the right direction and prevents wasted effort on ineffective routines. One of the most powerful aspects of systems is reducing friction. Willpower is often drained by unnecessary obstacles, unclear instructions, scattered tools, or competing priorities. A well-designed system removes these obstacles. For example, laying out workout clothes the night before reduces excuses and decision fatigue. Prepping meals in advance eliminates the stress of figuring out what to eat. The system handles the hard parts, freeing your mind to focus on execution. Time management within systems is critical. Schedule high-priority tasks during peak energy periods. Group similar tasks together to maximize efficiency. Set boundaries around time blocks to prevent interruptions. Systems that integrate time management create momentum and prevent procrastination from creeping back into your routine. Another key component is alignment with identity. Systems work best when they reinforce the person you are becoming. For example, if you want to become someone who reads daily, create a reading system. Specific books, a designated time, and a quiet space. Each completed step reinforces your identity, turning behavior into an automatic reflection of who you are. Emotions are less likely to sabotage results when systems are strong. Willpower is vulnerable to stress, fatigue, and negative moods. Systems operate independently of emotional fluctuations. Even on low-energy or high-stress days, a well-designed system keeps you moving forward. You act because the system dictates action, not because you feel motivated. Consistency beats intensity. A small, repeatable system executed daily is far more effective than sporadic bursts of willpower-driven effort. Momentum accumulates gradually, results compound, and habits become ingrained. Systems prioritize consistency, making progress inevitable rather than occasional. Failures are inevitable, but systems mitigate risk. When a step is missed, the structure remains in place to guide recovery. Systems are forgiving and resilient. They account for human variability, unlike reliance on willpower, which punishes lapses and often leads to discouragement. Feedback, reflection, and adaptation ensure that systems continue to serve long-term goals. Periodically assess. Are the routines producing the desired results? Are there bottlenecks or unnecessary steps? Are there ways to simplify or enhance the system? Refining systems keeps them efficient, relevant, and aligned with your evolving goals. Systems also support long-term vision. While willpower is short-term and situational, systems create sustained progress. They bridge the gap between daily effort and larger ambitions, transforming incremental actions into lasting transformation. Every small, structured decision compounds into substantial growth over time. Finally, strong minds recognize the power of habit stacking within systems. Linking one positive action to another builds layered routines that multiply results. For example, a morning routine could include hydration, movement, journaling, and planning. Each step reinforces the next, creating a cascading effect that strengthens discipline, focus, and productivity. Relying on willpower alone is like trying to row upstream against a strong current. Systems are the current itself, guiding, consistent, and unstoppable. They make desired actions automatic, reduce mental strain, and reinforce identity. When your mind is supported by strong systems, discipline becomes effortless, productivity becomes predictable, and your stronger life becomes inevitable. Start today. Identify one area of your life where you rely on willpower. Break it down, design a repeatable system, reduce friction, and take action daily. Your mind will thrive when supported by structure, momentum will grow, and your strongest self will emerge naturally. Chapter 9. The Power of Strategic Rest. Many people view rest as optional, indulgent, or even unproductive. They believe that success is measured by relentless effort, long hours, and constant activity. Yet, true strength of mind comes not only from discipline and action but also from the ability to rest strategically. Rest is not laziness. It is a tool for recovery, growth, and enhanced performance. Without it, even the most focused and disciplined mind will falter. The first principle of strategic rest is understanding that your brain and body have limits. Cognitive fatigue, emotional depletion, and physical exhaustion reduce focus, creativity, and decision-making. When you ignore these limits, mistakes multiply, willpower diminishes, and progress slows. Recognizing the necessity of rest is the first step in harnessing it as a tool rather than seeing it as a weakness. Not all rest is created equal. There is a difference between passive downtime, like scrolling endlessly on a phone, and intentional, restorative rest. Strategic rest is deliberate. It is designed to recharge the mind, body, and spirit, so that when action resumes, it is focused, productive, and energized. Sleep is the cornerstone of mental and physical restoration. Deep, uninterrupted sleep repairs the body, consolidates memory, and strengthens focus. Without adequate sleep, attention weakens, emotional regulation falters, and decision-making suffers. Strategic minds prioritize sleep as non-negotiable, viewing it as a vital tool for high performance rather than a negotiable luxury. Beyond sleep, mental rest is critical. Continuous problem-solving, multitasking, or planning creates mental strain. Strategic rest involves intentionally pausing, stepping away from cognitive demands, and allowing the mind to reset. Techniques like meditation, breathing exercises, or quiet reflection help clear mental clutter and improve focus. Even short breaks can have dramatic effects on productivity and clarity when practiced consistently. Physical rest also matters. Discipline is not about constant movement. It is about sustainable energy. Overtraining, neglecting recovery, or pushing through exhaustion can backfire. Incorporate active recovery, stretching, gentle movement, or rest days to maintain strength and prevent burnout. A mind supported by a well-rested body operates with sharper clarity and resilience. Strategic rest also includes emotional recovery. Stress, conflict, and emotional strain accumulate over time. Without deliberate recovery, these negative emotions interfere with focus, decision-making, and relationships. Practices like journaling, talking with trusted friends, or engaging in hobbies allow emotional processing, reducing tension and replenishing mental energy. Another crucial aspect is micro-rests throughout the day. Even short pauses, if used intentionally, restore attention and mental clarity. Stepping away from a task for a few minutes, taking a walk, or practicing deep breathing allows the brain to reset. These small interruptions prevent mental fatigue, sustain momentum, and improve performance when returning to work. Strategic rest also involves boundaries. Many people drain energy by allowing constant interruptions, excessive digital engagement, or unscheduled obligations. Protect your energy by setting clear limits. Designate work periods, downtime, and social engagement deliberately. Boundaries create space for focus, recovery, and creative thinking, preventing mental and emotional burnout. One of the most overlooked aspects of rest is active reflection. Rest is not merely absence of action, it is an opportunity for growth. Reflect on achievements, challenges, and lessons learned. Consider what worked, what didn't, and how to improve. Reflection during rest transforms downtime into a strategic tool for skill refinement and personal development. Strategic rest also supports creativity and problem-solving. The mind often finds solutions when it is relaxed rather than pressured. Many breakthroughs occur during periods of rest, solitude, or non-linear activity. By allowing space for the subconscious mind to work, you tap into insights that constant effort cannot produce. The strong-minded approach to rest also includes rituals for mental transition. Ending work intentionally, creating clear separation between focus and downtime, and signaling to the brain that recovery is allowed strengthens rest quality. Rituals might include a walk after work, turning off screens, journaling, or engaging in calming activities. The brain learns to let go, recover, and prepare for the next phase of action. It is also important to recognize the compounding effect of consistent rest. Just as daily action builds momentum, daily strategic rest strengthens resilience, energy, and mental performance over time. Ignoring rest leads to cumulative fatigue, mistakes, and emotional instability. Embracing rest produces sustained clarity, focus, and discipline. Strategic rest is not passive. It is proactive. It requires planning, awareness, and prioritization. Schedule downtime, sleep, breaks, and reflection deliberately. Treat these periods as essential components of your productivity system rather than optional luxuries. By doing so, you amplify the effectiveness of every moment of action. Another dimension of strategic rest is mental decluttering. Constant stimulation, notifications, social media, and endless information overloads the mind. Intentional breaks that remove digital noise restore clarity. Create periods of disconnection, focus on solitude, or engage in mindful activities. The mind recovers, attention strengthens, and creativity expands. Rest also strengthens emotional resilience. When the mind is overworked, small setbacks feel catastrophic, and minor stressors become overwhelming. Strategic rest replenishes emotional reserves, allowing calm, rational responses rather than reactive decisions. By maintaining emotional equilibrium, you protect your energy for what matters most. The final principle of rest is integration. Rest and action are not opposing forces. They are complementary. Discipline without recovery leads to burnout. Rest without action leads to stagnation. The strongest minds integrate both, creating a rhythm of intense focus followed by deliberate restoration. This cycle produces consistent, sustainable growth. Imagine a life where fatigue, overwhelm, and mental fog no longer dominate your days. Tasks are completed with clarity. Decisions are deliberate. Energy is consistent. Challenges are met with calm, not panic. By mastering strategic rest, you unlock a level of performance, creativity, and focus that action alone cannot achieve. Strategic rest is a force multiplier. It supports discipline, attention, emotional control, and momentum. It ensures that every action is executed with clarity, energy, and purpose. Begin today by evaluating your sleep, breaks, reflection practices, and boundaries. Incorporate deliberate, restorative rest into your daily routine. Your mind will thank you with heightened focus, stronger resilience, and unstoppable progress. Chapter 10. The Discipline of Daily Action. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. It is the consistent execution of deliberate action, even when motivation falters, emotions fluctuate, or obstacles arise. While inspiration sparks initial effort, it is discipline that sustains momentum, builds skills, and transforms potential into tangible results. Daily action, fueled by discipline, is the foundation of a stronger mind. The first principle of daily action is consistency over intensity. Many people overestimate the power of sporadic bursts of effort and underestimate the compounding effect of regular, small actions. Doing a little every day produces far greater results than doing a lot occasionally. Consistency trains the mind, strengthens habits, and builds credibility with yourself. Each day of action reinforces the belief that you are capable and committed. Begin by prioritizing high-impact tasks. Not every task is equally valuable. Some contribute significantly to long-term goals, while others are distractions or low-value obligations. Focus your daily actions on the 20% of tasks that produce 80% of results. This principle of leverage ensures that your effort produces maximum impact and prevents wasted energy. Another essential principle is starting before you feel ready. Waiting for perfect conditions or peak motivation is the enemy of action. Discipline requires starting regardless of emotion, energy, or circumstance. Begin now, even imperfectly, and adjust along the way. Momentum often begins with a single step, not a fully formed plan. To strengthen discipline, implement time-blocking strategies. Allocate dedicated periods for focused action and eliminate interruptions. When a task is scheduled intentionally, it reduces decision fatigue and increases the likelihood of execution. Protect these blocks fiercely. They are the arenas where your mind grows stronger. Daily action is reinforced by tracking and accountability. Recording your progress provides tangible proof of effort and success. Use journals, apps, or checklists to monitor completed tasks. Accountability, whether to yourself or others, adds an extra layer of commitment, ensuring that momentum does not dissipate. One of the most effective ways to cultivate discipline is habit stacking. Link desired actions to existing routines, creating automatic sequences that require minimal decision-making. For example, after brushing your teeth, you could write in a journal, or after making coffee, you review your daily goals. Habit stacking reduces friction and increases the likelihood of sustained daily action. Focus on starting, not finishing, is another powerful mindset. Often, the barrier to action is the perception of overwhelming work. Commit to beginning a task, even if it seems large or complex. Once started, the mind naturally engages, and completion becomes easier. Action breaks inertia, while hesitation strengthens procrastination. Daily action also requires embracing discomfort. Growth, achievement, and progress rarely occur in comfort zones. Resistance, fear, and challenge are signals that meaningful work is occurring. Discipline means taking action despite discomfort, knowing that each step reinforces capability, resilience, and confidence. Eliminate unnecessary decisions to preserve mental energy for action. Every choice, no matter how small, drains willpower. Reduce trivial decisions by creating routines, planning meals, automating habits, and scheduling tasks. The less your mind negotiates daily distractions, the more energy remains for deliberate, goal-oriented action. Another essential element is reflection and adjustment. Daily action without insight can lead to repetition without growth. At the end of each day, review what worked, what didn't, and where improvement is possible. Reflection strengthens awareness, hones strategy, and ensures that each action contributes effectively to long-term objectives. Energy management complements daily discipline. Discipline is easier when physical and mental energy are optimized. Sleep, nutrition, movement, and break support sustained action. Ignoring energy levels makes discipline feel like a struggle, while managing energy ensures that daily action flows naturally and consistently. Discipline is reinforced by identity alignment. You do not act daily simply to check boxes. You act because daily action reflects who you are becoming. Identify as someone who follows through, who executes consistently, and who honors commitments. Every action becomes evidence of this identity, strengthening self-belief and reinforcing habits. Dealing with setbacks is a critical aspect of disciplined daily action. Obstacles, mistakes, and interruptions are inevitable. Discipline is not about perfection. It is about resilience and persistence. When a day is lost or a task incomplete, recommit immediately. Return to action without judgment. Every recovery reinforces discipline and strengthens the mind. Daily action is also strategic, not random. Discipline without direction can produce busyness without results. Ensure that every action aligns with your priorities and long-term goals. Strategy transforms effort into meaningful progress and ensures that discipline compounds into achievement rather than exhaustion. The compounding power of daily action cannot be overstated. One productive day produces results. 2 consecutive days produce momentum. Weeks and months of consistent action compound into exponential growth. Small, deliberate efforts accumulate into mastery, confidence, and transformative outcomes. Discipline converts intention into reality. To strengthen daily action, adopt visual cues and triggers. Place reminders of your goals, inspirational prompts, or visual checklists in your environment. These cues prompt immediate action, reinforce focus, and prevent procrastination from taking hold. The mind responds strongly to visual signals when aligned with intentional behavior. Another powerful tactic is reward and reinforcement. Recognize and celebrate completion of tasks or milestones. Rewards do not need to be extravagant. Acknowledgement of progress strengthens the habit loop. Positive reinforcement trains the mind to associate daily action with satisfaction, making discipline easier and more sustainable. Ultimately, discipline is not about forcing effort. It is about designing a system where action becomes automatic. By combining focus, clarity, habit, energy management, reflection, identity alignment, and reward, you create a framework where daily action is natural, consistent, and effective. The stronger your system, the less willpower you need, and the more effortless your discipline becomes. Imagine the power of completing meaningful actions every single day. Momentum builds. Skills develop. Confidence grows. Obstacles feel smaller. Every day becomes evidence of your capability, commitment, and strength. Daily action transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results, shaping a mind that is disciplined, resilient, and unstoppable. Start today. Identify the smallest, most meaningful action you can take and do it. Recommit each day. Track progress. Reflect. Adjust. Align with identity. Celebrate victories. Over time, daily action compounds into the stronger mind, disciplined life, and extraordinary outcomes you are creating. Chapter 11. Becoming Unstoppable. Integrating Mind, Action, and Life. By now, you have learned the foundations of building a stronger mind, rewriting your inner story, breaking delay, mastering your emotions, creating momentum through daily wins, designing systems, resting strategically, and committing to disciplined daily action. Each chapter has been a building block, preparing you for a life where mental strength, focus, and purpose become natural parts of who you are. The final step is integration, combining these principles into a unified approach that makes you unstoppable. Integration begins with self-awareness. The strongest minds are those who understand themselves deeply, their strengths, weaknesses, triggers, habits, and goals. Awareness allows you to identify patterns, anticipate challenges, and make conscious choices rather than reacting automatically. Regular reflection, journaling, and honest self-assessment strengthen awareness and create a foundation for deliberate action. Next comes alignment. Your daily actions, emotional state, habits, and environment must align with your highest goals and values. Misalignment creates internal conflict, wasted energy, and frustration. Aligning your mind, body, and life with your objectives ensures that every effort compounds. Your priorities, routines, and habits should act as a direct expression of your vision, reinforcing progress rather than resisting it. Momentum remains essential. By integrating the practices of daily wins, habit stacking, and systems, you create a forward-moving force that carries you even when motivation is low. Momentum is self-reinforcing. Every action produces energy, confidence, and clarity that fuels subsequent efforts. When life challenges you, momentum ensures that progress continues despite setbacks. Emotional mastery is equally crucial in integration. Life is unpredictable, and challenges are inevitable. Your ability to regulate your emotions, maintain focus under stress, and respond rather than react determines whether obstacles derail or strengthen you. Emotional control amplifies the effectiveness of every system, habit, and action you implement, ensuring consistent performance and resilience. Strategic rest is not separate from action. It is an integral part of the system. To sustain long-term progress, you must balance effort with restoration. Sleep, breaks, reflection, and mental downtime fuel creativity, focus, and energy. A mind that integrates rest with action avoids burnout, maintains clarity, and operates at peak effectiveness consistently. Discipline ties everything together. Daily, deliberate action, executed consistently, is the engine that transforms principles into results. Discipline is not reliance on willpower. It is the natural outcome of systems, habits, momentum, and emotional regulation working together. It is the bridge between potential and achievement, the force that turns intention into measurable progress. Integration also requires resilience and adaptability. Life rarely follows a predictable path. Challenges, failures, and setbacks are inevitable. A strong mind does not crumble. It adapts. Every obstacle becomes a lesson, every failure a guide, and every recovery a reinforcement of your inner strength. Resilience ensures that temporary disruptions do not halt progress but instead strengthen it. Identity and purpose are central to becoming unstoppable. You are no longer acting out of fleeting motivation or external pressure. You act because it reflects who you are becoming. Your identity is built on repeated choices, daily habits, and consistent action. Purpose provides the why behind every effort, making discipline and momentum feel natural and meaningful rather than burdensome. Integration also emphasizes continuous learning and growth. A stronger mind does not stagnate. It evolves. Seek knowledge, refine skills, and embrace feedback. Each experience, challenge, and interaction is an opportunity to expand capability. Growth becomes automatic when learning is embedded into your routines, reflection, and decision-making processes. Systems thinking completes the integration. When habits, routines, momentum, energy management, rest, emotional regulation, and focus are all part of a coherent system, action becomes almost automatic. Systems reduce reliance on willpower, protect against distraction, and maximize efficiency. They allow your mind to operate at high performance without constant struggle, making extraordinary results inevitable over time. Integration is also about impact and contribution. A mind strengthened through these practices is not merely for personal gain. It creates the capacity to influence, inspire, and contribute meaningfully. Discipline, clarity, and focus allow you to execute on goals that matter, positively affecting your life, your work, and the people around you. Unstoppable minds create ripples far beyond themselves. The final step in integration is daily reinforcement. Knowledge alone does not transform life. Action does. Every morning, commit to your practices. Clarity, reflection, momentum, emotional mastery, strategic rest, systems, and disciplined action. Every evening, review, reflect, and adjust. This daily cycle ensures that the principles you've learned become second nature, guiding every choice, action, and habit. Imagine the life of someone who has fully integrated these principles. Challenges no longer provoke panic. Setbacks are temporary learning experiences. Daily action is effortless because systems, habits, and routines are aligned. Energy is abundant because rest, nutrition, and mental clarity are prioritized. Momentum carries growth forward. Emotional regulation ensures focus and confidence. Your inner story, rewritten and reinforced, drives consistent progress. You are unstoppable. Becoming unstoppable is not a distant goal. It begins now, with every conscious decision you make today. By integrating mind, action, and life, you create a framework where strength, discipline, and growth are inevitable. You move with purpose, act with focus, and build a life where results are a natural byproduct of consistent, deliberate effort. The strongest minds are those who choose to integrate knowledge with action, reflection with momentum, emotion with discipline, and rest with focus. By doing so, you transcend ordinary effort and enter a state of extraordinary capability. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstance, motivation, or fatigue. You are the architect of your life, unstoppable, empowered, and unstoppable by design. The journey does not end here. The principles you've learned must continue to be applied, refined, and reinforced daily. Each moment of deliberate action, each step of reflection, and each practice of mastery compounds into a life of fulfillment, achievement, and unshakable strength. Your mind, once ordinary, is now extraordinary. Your actions, once inconsistent, are now powerful. Your life, once uncertain, is now intentional. Start today. Continue integrating, growing, and acting. Your unstoppable mind is not a future dream. It is the reality you create, one deliberate choice, one daily action, and one integrated system at a time.